The story begins with Bonpal, who possesses a unique ability to see and combat ghosts, leading him to earn money as a ghost hunter. However, there are numerous ghosts stronger than him that he is unable to defeat. Next, we are introduced to his uncle, Myung-chul, who once had the same special power but lost it many years ago. In college, Bonpal is captivated by a lovely girl named Seo-yeon, revealing his romantic feelings for her. Seo-yeon had feelings for her professor Hae-sung, who was well liked by all the students. However, he is approached by two individuals named Cheon-sang and In-rang. These two individuals invite him to join their secret club focused on capturing ghosts on camera. Since Bonpal kept his superpower a secret, he declines their invitation. Upon returning home, he finds out that Myung-chul paid him a visit. While sharing a meal, Myung-chul advises him to avoid ghosts entirely. Despite informing Myung-chul that he will do it, he also receives a message from an unknown person tasking him with catching a ghost at an abandoned school. Upon arriving at the school, Bonpal spots a charming girl in a school uniform and realizes she is the ghost. However, he is unable to defeat her as she proves to be stronger, forcing him to retreat after being insulted by her. When he gets home, he resolves to return the next day in order to earn the money promised to him. The following day, Cheon-sang and In-rang attend the same school after learning about its haunted reputation. They place cameras around the school and wait in a small room for the ghosts to show up. Bonpal arrives with a sword to capture the ghost during their encounter. Although the battle is intense, they both end up falling from the upstairs, leading to an unexpected kiss between them. This moment triggers the ghost to recollect some of her forgotten memories. Meanwhile, Cheon-sang and In-rang find themselves under attack by a frightening ghost. They exit the room and come face to face with Bonpal and the ghost, who unexpectedly flee. While heading towards the elevator, Bonpal encounters the ghost girl, whose presence fills him with fear and sadness, as he believes the frightening ghost is causing her harm. He returns to her side, and together they attempt to combat the ghost. The girl eventually notices a red spot on the ghost's head and directs Bonpal to strike it. When he does so, the ghost vanishes. They then become acquainted and she reveals her name as Hyun-ji. She jokingly admits to him that she was the one who sent the message because she needed him to catch the harmful ghost. This makes him upset and he leaves in annoyance. Later, Hyun-ji confides in her ghost friend that kissing Bonpal triggered some of her memories to return. The friend suggests that she should find Bonpal and kiss him again in order to fully recover her memories. Hyun-ji quickly approaches Bonpal to ask for a favor, but he stops her before she can speak. She then attempts to explain the importance of a kiss to her, but he declines. Despite his refusal, Hyun-ji continues to follow him, even to his house, where he accuses her of causing him to lose promised money. The next day, she follows him to the university, where Cheon-sang and In-rang witness him talking to himself and suspect that he can see ghosts. Hyun-ji stays with him 24/7, giving him no other chance but to accept her presence. When he discovers that she likes food, he cooks for her, but his uncle comes to the apartment finishing all the food. At night, Hyun-ji sneaks into Bonpal's room trying to steal a kiss while sleeping, but he wakes up and stops her. After that, Bonpal receives a new mission. He tells Hyun-ji to leave him alone, but she insists to go with him. Upon arrival at the location, Bonpal encounters the ghost of a woman who pulls him into a closet. The woman warns him to be cautious as the area is perilous. Shortly after, he hears Hyun-ji screaming as she is being attacked by another ghost. Bonpal rushes to her aid but finds the ghost overpowering him. During the confrontation, Hyun-ji notices the red mark on the ghost once again and alerts Bonpal, who then successfully attacks the ghost, causing it to vanish. They rejoice in their triumph, and Bonpal inquires about how she is able to see the red spots on ghosts. When Hyun-ji remains silent, he questions her about why she wants to kiss him, and she replies that when they kissed before she remembered some of her past, and she wants to do it again, leading him to empathize with her and kiss her. Rather than recalling any memories, Hyun-ji experiences a peculiar sensation and abruptly leaves. The following day she visits Bonpal at the university, but he ignores her as he is still upset, leaving her without revealing how she sees the red spots. When he notices Seo-yeon with Professor Hae-sung, he becomes jealous and upset, so he decides to leave. However, Hyun-ji follows him and attempts to persuade him to collaborate as a team to capture the ghosts. Initially, he declines, but she explains that working together would lead to capturing more ghosts, earning more money, and making up for the money she didn't give him previously. They then go shopping and she starts buying a lot of stuff. She even sees a dress and asks him to buy and burn it to make her able to put it on, but he refuses. Then they go home, and she sleeps by his side. When he sees her, he covers her and sleeps out. The next day, Bonpal notices In-rang approaching him at that moment, screaming that Cheon-sang is in their house being chased by a ghost. Bonpal and Hyun-ji head to the location where Cheon-sang was attacked, attempting to defeat the ghost unsuccessfully. The ghost then severely attacks Hyun-ji, prompting Bonpal to rush to her side, pushing the ghost away, causing it to vanish. Upon returning home, Bongpal sees Hyunji exhausted and recalls that she had previously asked him to purchase a dress she liked, which he had declined. Bongpal decides to purchase the dress and is completely captivated when he sees her wearing it. Meanwhile, Cheon-sang and In-rang are conversing, believing that Bongpal helped them out of kindness. However, they receive a message from him requesting payment, causing them to ponder how to come up with the money. Next, Bongpal and Hyunji are at the university when Hyunji spots her ghost friend. She questions why she is there, to which the ghost friend responds that she came to see Professor Hae-sung because she has feelings for him. They all assist Hae-sung with various tasks, with Bongpal wanting to accompany Seo-yeon there. Hyunji observes that Hae-sung creates space when passing by her, leading her to question whether he can see her. He then sits down with Hyunji to educate her on certain topics, but she struggles to comprehend his explanations, causing him to cease. Later that night, he encounters Cheon-sang and In-rang, who inform him that they are broke but aware of a man seeking to capture a ghost. Bongpal is informed by his friends that if he completes the task, they will split a large sum of money among themselves, to which he agrees. Meanwhile, Hyunji is heavily drinking. The group sets out to capture the ghost, and when Bongpal asks for Hyunji's assistance, she is unable to help due to her intoxication and ends up being attacked by the ghost. Fortunately, she is able to spot a weak point, and Bongpal defeats the ghost once he knows about it. Cheon-sang and In-rang inform Bongpal that the money will be transferred to him within 2 days. Bongpal then carries the drunk Hyunji back home. In a different location, we observe Hae-sung interacting with a cat along with his student. However, the cat accidentally scratches his hand. Surprisingly, later that night, Hae-sung tragically puts an end to the cat's life, and this act is witnessed by the student. Hae-sung approaches her, and despite her fearful expression, she is unable to scream as he takes her life. The following morning, Bongpal notices Hyunji peacefully sleeping and admires her beauty, yet he quickly dismisses his thoughts by reminding himself that she is simply a ghost. Meanwhile, at the university, Cheon-sang and In-rang attempt to persuade him to join their club, assuring him that they will handle the missions together. Bongpal, however, declines their offer of help by stating that he receives missions independently and departs, prompting the group to brainstorm alternative methods to persuade him. They observe Bongpal's fondness for Seo-yeon and approach her, successfully persuading her to join their group. With Seo-yeon on board, they present Bongpal with a contract signed by her, leading him to agree to join their team promptly. This development sparks jealousy in Hyunji, who already harbored unfavorable feelings towards Seo-yeon. Bongpal, back at home, delves into the details of his latest mission involving a child ghost in an apartment. He is investigating his own death and believes that his stepfather was abusing him until he passed away, after which the man also died. Hyunji questions Bongpal about his reluctance to complete this task, and he explains that he senses the child is still in distress. Upon entering, they witness the man chasing the child as expected. Bongpal recalls memories of his deceased mother and becomes enraged, attacking the ghost until it vanishes and he rescues the child, reassuring his mother that the child is now safe. The scene transitions to the forest where the police have located the victim's whereabouts and have begun searching for the perpetrator. Bongpal wakes up and sees Hyunji asleep next to his bed, holding his injured hand and looking concerned after the events of the previous night. When he questions her actions, she blushes and quickly disappears. In college, Cheon-sang and In-rang suggest taking a break and invite Bongpal to join them on a trip. Initially hesitant, he changes his mind upon learning that Seo-yeon will also be attending. Despite Hyunji's jealousy and attempts to prevent him from going, Bongpal joins the group on the trip. They decide to stay at In-rang's grandmother's house. A few minutes later, Seo-yeon discloses that she is heading out to make a purchase. Cheon-sang insists on accompanying her as he has already developed feelings for her. Seeing this, Hyunji becomes envious and attempts to prevent him from going, but her efforts are in vain. They depart together, and as they converse on their journey, it becomes evident that she also has feelings for him. Meanwhile, Bongpal notices Hyunji sitting despondently by the river, but he pays her no mind and proceeds on his way. But he can't prevent himself from going back to her, offering her ice cream. Simultaneously, we observe two police officers conversing with Hae-sung regarding his deceased student. Hae-sung pretends to be shocked by the news and tells the officers that he has no information about her. But one of the officers seems to be suspicious of him based on his expression. Later, he visits Bongpal's apartment in search of something, and runs into Myung-chul by accident. When they all gather and socialize together, Cheon-sang questions Seo-yeon about her love life, to which she admits she is in love with someone who is not present in the room. Bongpal becomes extremely upset by this, leading him to leave the room feeling dejected. In contrast, Hyunji is filled with happiness by the situation. The following day, Seo-yeon is seated on the bridge near the river when Hyunji joins her, but suddenly a ghost emerges from the water and pulls Seo-yeon into the river. Bongpal quickly saves her, but wrongly accuses Hyunji of being involved. He then goes to the pharmacy to get medicine for Seo-yeon. A lady at the pharmacy warns him about the dangerous lake, mentioning the presence of a ghost in the water. Upon learning this information, Bonpal realizes that Hyunji is innocent and rushes towards her. Unfortunately, she had already been attacked by the ghost before his arrival. Bonpal successfully defeats the ghost on his own without Hyunji's assistance and rescues her. She embraces him, expressing her fear, and then loses consciousness. Bonpal takes her to his house and stays up all night caring for her, and they share a meal together. Inform him that while she was asleep, she had a recollection of a woman sitting beside her, crying and calling out her name. Meanwhile, Myung-chul is seen attempting to contact Bonpal's father. However, Bonpal's father's phone is in possession of Hae-sung, and it is revealed that Hae-sung for some unknown reason ended Bonpal's father's life. Subsequently, Bonpal, Hyunji, Cheon-sang, and In-rang embark on a new mission. They encounter a woman who confesses that she had been pressuring her daughter to study diligently, until she noticed her daughter behaving strangely, even resorting to physical violence at times. When they enter the room, the girl initiates an attack and successfully escapes to the rooftop. They pursue her, and Hyunji intervenes to restrain her. The girl then redirects her aggression towards Bonpal, who is much weaker than her. Just then, the mother arrives and apologizes to her daughter for her actions. With the girl gaining control over her body, the ghost is expelled, allowing Bonpal to defeat her. As a reward for completing the mission, Bonpal offers Hyunji the chance to ask for anything she desires. She requests to visit the amusement park, and he promises to take her the following day. Hyunji's ghostly friend successfully makes it to Hae-sung's house and is surprised to find that he has Hyunji's card. He then reveals that he can see and communicate with her before disappearing completely. Meanwhile, Hyunji waits for Bonpal at the amusement park entrance, but he gets deterred when he witnesses Seo-yeon being hit by a bike. Bonpal rushes her to the hospital, leaving Hyunji waiting for him until nightfall, but he never shows up. Myung-chul visits the police station to report Bonpal's father missing, but is told by the officer that there is no evidence of his disappearance. The following day at the university, Seo-yeon expresses gratitude to Bonpal for assisting her the previous night. Hyunji, however, becomes upset upon learning that he did not meet with her for this reason and disappears in anger. When Bonpal returns home, he prepares a meal for Hyunji, gives her a new outfit as an apology, and she forgives him. The following day, Hyunji wears her new outfit for their latest mission, which takes place at an abandoned hospital. Upon entering, Cheon-sang and In-rang are suddenly attacked by ghosts, but Hyunji comes to their rescue. They are shocked to finally get a clear look at Hyunji's face for the first time. While fighting off a ghost, Hyunji realizes that not all ghosts are evil, and advises Bonpal to refrain from harming them. The ghosts convey a message to Bonpal and Hyunji, revealing that they are trapped in the hospital and simply wish to be set free. Bonpal quickly contacts the authorities, who successfully remove all the corpses. Following the completion of the task, In-rang informs Bonpal that he encountered a ghost of a lovely girl who assisted him, prompting him to admit to having a ghost companion named Hyunji who aids him. In-rang admits to having strong feelings for the beautiful girl, causing Bonpal to feel a twinge of jealousy. Later that night, Bonpal takes Hyunji to the theme park to make it up to her. Hyunji manages to express her feelings for Bonpal, feeling extremely bashful before eventually deciding to leave. The following day, both of them are visibly nervous when they encounter each other at the house. Bonpal informs her that they have a new task ahead to distract themselves from their amusement park experience. Meanwhile, two officers visit Hae-sung's clinic and inquire with the nurses regarding details on the day of the crime. The nurses recount how Hae-sung returned to the clinic unusually late and appeared agitated on that day. Upon arriving at the clinic, Hae-sung was informed by the officers that they were conducting a routine investigation. Following this, Hyunji and Bonpal were seen together, where she expressed her desire for him to forget about her previous confession of love. However, she experienced a sudden strange sensation and vanished completely. Bonpal frantically called out her name and searched for her, only to have her suddenly reappear without any explanation. Overwhelmed with relief, Bonpal hugged her tightly and expressed his concern, urging her never to disappear again. From that point forward, he begins taking her out on numerous dates, disregarding the opinions of those who believe he is acting irrationally by talking to himself. Meanwhile, the police continue their investigation, eventually uncovering evidence that Bonpal's car was present at the crime scene. He is called to the police station to begin the investigation. One of the officers is convinced that he is the culprit but cannot provide evidence, especially when his partner informs him that someone else has already confessed to being the criminal. In a flashback, we witness Hae-sung entering the victim's friend's house, taking his life, and sending a message to the police from his phone admitting his guilt. Hae-sung managed to leave the police station, but the officers still believed he was the criminal. When Bonpal and Hyunji passed by Hae-sung's clinic, he recognized them and challenged Bonpal to help out at the clinic. Bonpal agreed, while Hyunji wandered off to explore. Hae-sung entered the room where Hyun-ji was and gave her a sinister look, but before he could approach her, Bong-pal entered the room. While Bong-pal and Hyun-ji were leaving, they were spotted by Myung-chul, who recognizes Hae-sung and knows that he is Bong-pal's professor at the college. Next, the group is shown on their next mission, where a man is possessed by his ex-girlfriend's spirit, causing him to sleep for days. Bong-pal informs Hyun-ji that he cannot capture the ghost unless the man is fully awake. After leaving the location, he invites Hyun-ji to go on a date with him, but she appears upset, claiming that she is a ghost and is causing harm by being seen in public with him. However, Bong-pal reassures her that it doesn't matter and confesses his love to her, officially becoming a couple. Later, they receive a phone call from a woman informing them that her brother has woken up. When they arrive at the location, she reveals that her brother has left the house and she doesn't know his whereabouts. When people view a photograph of him with his former partner, they visit the location with the hope of encountering him. They do indeed spot him there, and upon witnessing the female spirit, Hyun-ji attempts to prevent her from causing harm to him. However, the ghost informs her that she is already trying to protect him from his own actions. The man ends up falling into the water, but Bong-pal successfully saves him. The man sees the ghost of his ex-partner reaching out to console him. Through a flashback, we learn about their past where the man was diagnosed with cancer and coped by drinking heavily. He was almost hit by a car but the girl saved him and warned him to be more cautious. They met the next day and hit it off, eventually becoming a couple, all while the man kept his illness a secret. He informed her that he would be traveling abroad. The young woman attempted to contact him on that day, but instead, his family informed him of all the details about the surgery. She hurried to the hospital, but tragically got hit by a car and passed away. When he regained consciousness after the surgery, he learned that she had died while on her way to see him, causing him immense guilt as he blamed himself for her death. Moving forward, the ghost of the girl reassured him that she harbored no ill feelings towards him and that he was not responsible for her demise. She urged him to live a happier life before ascending into the sky. Then Bong-pal and Hyun-ji go back to the house, but Myung-chul arrives upon hearing Bong-pal talking to himself. Myung-chul realizes that Bong-pal is speaking to a ghost and reprimands him, stating that he cannot be friends with ghosts, especially since his mother died because of one. In a flashback, we witness Bong-pal being possessed by a ghost, and when Myung-chul removes it, the ghost caused his mother to be hit by a car. Despite Hyun-ji feeling sorry for him, Bong-pal asserts to Myung-chul that he is not a child and knows what he is doing. Frustrated, Myung-chul storms out but then notices the cakes and recalls that it is Bong-pal's birthday. During that time, she encountered Myung-chul returning. He sensed her presence and advised her to stay away from Bong-pal, recounting how his mother's life was tragically ended by ghosts. Upon Bong-pal's return, Hyun-ji informed him that she knew it was his birthday that day and expressed her desire to take him on a special date. Indeed, they embark on a river trip and have a good time together, but Hyun-ji mysteriously disappears. Frantic with worry, he searches everywhere for her upon his return. He goes through his house but still cannot find her. Meanwhile, Myung-chul starts looking into Hae-sung, suspecting him of being a bad guy. During this time, he gets a call from Bong-pal and meets up with him. Bong-pal questions him about Hyun-ji's disappearance, and Myung-chul confesses that he had already talked to her about leaving. Next, Hae-sung is spotted at Bong-pal's mother's grave by a monk, prompting him to quickly depart. Later that night, Bong-pal continues his search for Hyun-ji and eventually locates her at the amusement park. Inquiring why she left him, he is met with her response that she no longer wishes to be with him. Despite his intuition telling him otherwise, Bong-pal is left feeling despondent and exits the scene. The following day, Myung-chul visits his mother's grave and learns from another individual that someone else had been there the day before. Upon showing a picture of Hae-sung, the person confirms his suspicion, causing Myung-chul to harbor even more doubt towards him. Hyun-ji is seen wandering alone on the street, recalling the moment she was hit by a car at the same location. Hae-sung then confesses he was the one who hit her, and tries to search her bag and pockets but is interrupted by onlookers, forcing him to leave. Meanwhile, Bong-pal, Cheon-sang, and In-rang embark on a new mission, with Bong-pal visibly affected by Hyun-ji's disappearance. Despite managing to defeat the ghost, Bong-pal is injured in a minor car accident. Cheon-sang and In-rang rush him to the hospital. Hyun-ji found herself in a familiar place, realizing it was the hospital she was brought to after being hit, and she saw doctors rush with a patient who was herself. Knowing she was in a coma and not dead, she hurriedly looked for Bong-pal. Once she found him, she embraced him, expressing her apologies. However, before she could disclose that she was alive, her body started to fade away and eventually vanished. Simultaneously, Hae-sung is seen by Hyun-ji's bedside in the hospital. A dark force emerges from his body in an attempt to harm Hyun-ji, but she suddenly awakens from her coma. Bong-pal, overwhelmed by her disappearance once again, loses consciousness. Upon waking up, Hyun-ji finds her mother beside her and reassures her that she is fine. Meanwhile, Bongpal regains consciousness to find Cheon-sang and In-rang by his side. In-rang informs Bongpal that he witnessed a girl waking up from a coma after 5 years, and she bears a resemblance to Hyunji. Bongpal believes it is Hyunji and rushes to her room, only to be surprised when she claims not to recognize him. Feeling dejected, Bongpal leaves the room and returns to his own, where he encounters Myung-chul. Shortly after, Cheon-sang and In-rang arrive and bring up the topic of Hyunji. Myung-chul inquires about the ghost Bongpal liked, and he reveals that she was in a coma and not dead. Meanwhile, Hyunji is shown at the hospital, where Haesung approaches her and treats her kindly after she fails to recognize him, for which she expresses gratitude. Her mother then notices him and expresses gratitude for his kindness. Soon after, Bongpal visits her, attempting to jog her memory. She claims not to remember him, but he returns her belongings that were left at his place. Despite her initial denial, he continues to pursue her, even preparing her favorite meal, which eventually convinces her to dine with him. Meanwhile, Myung-chul visits Haesung's clinic under the pretense of being an old friend. Myung-chul ventures into the basement where he stumbles upon Hyunji's school identification card. As Hyunji expresses her gratitude to Bongpal for the meal, she suddenly becomes the target of a ghostly attack. When Bongpal hears the girl's cries, he rushes to help her and rescues her, only to find out that she has passed out and her mother blames him for that. Later that evening, he sends her a message to check on her well-being, and she responds that she will be discharged the next day and invites him to visit. However, the following day, Hyunji's mother refuses to let him see her daughter because she fainted while with him. Subsequently, Haesung visits Hyunji with some flowers, offers to escort her home, and her mother approves, assuming he is a good person. The following day, Hyunji encounters Bongpal at the university and informs him that she attended Haesung's lecture because he had invited her, so Bongpal escorts her there. However, she notices him conversing with Seo-yeon and feels jealous. Later, he goes out with Seo-yeon, who tearfully reveals that Haesung rejected her. Hyunji shows up, criticizing Bongpal and reminding him not to go on dates, then takes him away. Then he gives her a necklace, confessing that he was in love with her before, now, and will be forever. Meanwhile, Myung-chul is at the police station reporting Haesung as he suspects him, but officers overhear and also become suspicious, leading to a conversation among them all. Outside the station, he coincidentally encounters Cheon-sang and In-rang, and upon learning that they are Bongpal's friends, he requests to have a conversation with them. At the university, Bongpal and Hyunji are seen together, with Hyunji mentioning that she recalls being in that place before. Later, when Hyunji returns home, her mother informs her that she will be spending the night with her friends and urges her to secure the door properly. However, Hyunji is surprised to see a ghost and soon discovers that she possesses the ability to perceive spirits. Hyunji manages to get away from the house and urgently calls Bongpal to come and rescue her. Bongpal rushes to her side, trying to calm her down, but they are spotted by Haesung, who seems to be up to something. The following day, Cheon-sang and In-rang discuss the task assigned to them by Myung-chul, which is to monitor Haesung round the clock. Meanwhile, Bongpal is training Hyunji in fighting ghosts and they are both amazed by her skills. At that moment, Myung-chul received a call from the police requesting him to inspect the body of Bongpal's father. Upon arrival, he made the gruesome discovery that the father had been killed. He then visited Bongpal's residence and urged him to come and see his deceased father. Bongpal accompanied him without fully comprehending the situation until he laid eyes on his father's lifeless body. During the funeral, Hyunji sought out Bongpal, but he excused himself to greet other mourners. It was then that she encountered Myung-chul, and upon seeing a photo of his father, her memories of him came flooding back. In a flashback, Bongpal's father is shown giving her something to hold onto before she quickly runs away on the same day as her accident. Myung-chul questions her about the whereabouts of the object, but she claims not to remember. Later, Myung-chul spots Haesung at the funeral and confronts him outside, accusing him of being responsible for the troubles Bongpal and Hyunji are facing. Haesung strikes the man, revealing that he is possessed by a spirit and warns Myung-chul to leave him alone or face consequences. Myung-chul attempted to physically harm Haesung, but he proved to be much stronger, warning him to keep his distance. During this time, the police officers uncover that the DNA found on Bongpal's father's body matches that of Haesung, confirming their suspicions of him being the perpetrator. Meanwhile, when Hyunji seeks to inform Bongpal about her family's plan to relocate to another city to live with her father, she finds that he is grieving his father's passing and rejects her attempts to meet. He encounters Myung-chul, who discloses information about Haesung, mentioning that Hyunji possesses something he desires and he will pursue her. Bongpal becomes anxious about her well-being, attempting to contact her, but she has already departed from her home. Meanwhile, Hyunji is at the clinic, feeling lightheaded after consuming a substance, and as Bongpal approaches her, she recollects their past together. Hyunji faints. When Bongpal reaches the clinic, he spots the necklace he had purchased for Hyunji earlier. He immediately reports it to the police. Meanwhile, Cheon-sang and In-rang, who have been trailing Hae-sung, witness him taking Hyun-ji out of his car. The security guard questions his actions. He is forced to take drastic measures. Seo and In-rang observe the situation without being noticed by Hae-sung. Myung-chul tries to reassure everyone that Hae-sung will not harm Hyun-ji as she possesses something he desires. Then Bonpal gets a call from In-rang who updates him on the situation. The police respond promptly, while In-rang successfully hacks Hyun-ji's phone and determines her location. Meanwhile, Hyun-ji regains consciousness to see Hae-sung by her side, attempting to pressure her for information. Despite this, Hyun-ji feigns memory loss in order to stall for time. Bonpal arrives at the location, causing Hyun-ji to panic and attempt to escape through the window, dropping her phone in the process. Hae-sung intervenes to prevent her from leaving, guiding her out of the area. Upon Bonpal's arrival, he discovers Hyun-ji's phone on the floor with a message indicating their destination. Hae-sung and Hyun-ji eventually reach the designated location where she must hand over an item he desires, with no alternative available. Hyun-ji aggressively obtains it and makes a run for it. Bonpal and Myung-chul arrived at the location and began searching for Hyun-ji. Hae-sung continued to pursue Hyun-ji until he caught her and took the sacred bracelet from her. He had expressed that he no longer needed her, but Bonpal intervened to stop him. Myung-chul also joined in and attempted to attack Hae-sung, but was unsuccessful. However, Myung-chul used his own blood on the sword, and when he struck Hae-sung with it, he was able to remove the evil spirit possessing him. Despite the ghost still being present, Hyun-ji yelled at Bonpal to use the bracelet. Bonpal put it on and hit the ghost, causing it to completely disappear. Fortunately, Hae-sung survived and returned to being a normal person. Soon after, Hyun-ji encounters her ghostly friend and uncovers the truth that she was actually in a coma, not deceased like they had initially thought. Subsequently, Hyun-ji and Hae-sung are approached by Cheon-sang and In-rang, who inform them about a new mission to capture a ghost. Together, they form a team and head to the designated location. This is all about today's recap. If you like it, don't forget to give us a like, and subscribe to our channel, and see you next time.